She sat across him on the set, week after week, smiling for the cameras, but off-camera, Esther Rolle could barely stand to be in the same room as Jimmie Walker. What started as a professional disagreement quickly turned into one of the most talked-about fights in television history. So, what actually happened between the respected woman who played Florida Evans and the young man who made Dyn-o-mite a household phrase? The real story behind this classic television feud is far more complicated than a simple clash of big personalities. While the audience laughed at the silly jokes on screen, a quiet and serious war was being fought behind the scenes for the very soul of the show. To understand her anger, you have to look at who Esther Rolle was. Born in 1920 in Florida, she grew up in a large family that valued hard work and self-respect above everything else. She moved to New York in the late 1940s, studied acting, and worked incredibly hard to get onto the Broadway stage at a time when good roles for black women were very hard to find. By the time she landed her starring role on the hit show Good Times in 1974, she had spent decades fighting for respectful and honest representation on television. That fight is exactly why the sitcom meant so much to her. Good Times was one of the very first shows to feature a working-class family with real warmth, love, and strength, instead of just making fun of their poverty. Rolle believed deeply in this important message. But as the show became a huge hit, the focus shifted to Jimmie Walker's character, J, the loud, silly, catchphrase-screaming comic relief who quickly became the breakout star. For Rolle, this shift was not just annoying, it felt like a complete betrayal of everything she had worked so hard to build. She worried that JJ's foolish behavior was turning young black men into one-dimensional jokes, rather than showing them as complex human beings. Tensions between the two stars boiled over into direct arguments on the set, with Rolle openly showing her deep frustration. Walker, on his part, always argued that he was simply doing his job to make people laugh, and that their issues were purely creative, not personal. However, the division became so deep that Rolle actually walked away from her own hit show in 1977, only returning briefly for its final season in 1979, after certain changes were made. She went on to build a highly respected career in movies through the 1980s, always fighting for better roles for actors. Esther Rolle passed away in 1998 at 78 years old, remembered as a strong woman who refused to lower her high standards even when it cost her a massive paycheck. Her brave stand still raises an important question today. How far should a creative person go to protect the true meaning behind their work? Do you think Esther Rolle was right to take a stand against the silly comedy of the show? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love learning the real stories behind classic television, please subscribe to StarsLight News for more.